But if I need them up here for something, they can. Oh, do I have another microphone up here?
Yes, I have two.
You've got them, great. Okay, good. So welcome, thank you for being here today. Thank you to everybody online. There's a lot of people from Palm Springs online today, because of course what we're doing affects all of us. Is that you?
No.
Who is it? Karen, did you want me to dance or something? Okay. Before we start, though, everybody take a deep breath. Close your eyes. And so, recognizing this field of energy right now that we are all a part of, this vibration that we call the Global Truth Center, this energy, this expansive field of consciousness that is in this room, that is in every room that is tuned in to this vibration. What I know is that there is a movement of energy, and that movement of energy right here in this moment is a movement of wisdom and information. It is a movement of conversation, clarity, questions, answers. It is an ongoing evolution of life itself that each person here today participates in. And so I know that what wants to be known is known to all of us. What wants to be heard is heard. What needs to be understood is understood. What wants to be released is released with love. And I know that there is respect, cooperation, and understanding throughout this entire process. And I am so grateful to every person who has taken the time today to be a part of this important step in that forward journey of this beautiful center. And so I just breathe into this and allow it to do exactly what it is here to do. And I just say thank you. I let it be so, as we all say together, and so it is. Okay, so here is our agenda. So the first thing we're going to talk about is the lease on the water court, which is where you're sitting. The second thing we're going to talk about is the future of GTC. And the third thing we're going to talk about is rebranding and a new name. But first I want to say something about the hack. I realize now we should probably clear that up right away. So there are a lot of people working on the other side of what really happened. What we think happened is that our workspace was hacked, and therefore, since the workspace was hacked, well, no, what we really think happened was checks were mailed. Every week checks get mailed to people, and a set of checks were stolen. And when those checks were stolen, the person that stole the checks, or the group that stole the checks, therefore had our account number and where the bank was. And so they used that to set up a credit card and then make a payment on the credit card, which went through our church. But I caught it instantly. I called the bank, and they were on it instantly and got rid of it. And then changed some of the numbers that they needed to change to make sure that didn't happen again. So we did not lose any money. We did not, we were not harmed, but we found that happened. Shortly after that, my personal credit card, here's what was funny. I was on the computer early in the morning, like at 5 a.m, and I was in my American Express bill because I'd gotten this thing about fraud. And I couldn't tell if it was true or not. So I went into my emails to look to see what was going on, and I watched an email get erased as I was sitting there. I was like, well, that's weird. And then I watched all of my emails erased. And I instantly changed the password to my email account, closed out, changed it. And then I checked my American Express bill and found out that, in fact, they had tried to charge $3,852 or something like that. And they sent an email to me, Amex sent an email to me saying, is this an approved charge? I didn't see it because it got erased. And they wrote back, yes, it's approved. So they approved that one. And within moments, and I'm still in there looking at all this, in moments, I get an email from Amex that I see, and it says, there's a charge for $6,000. Do you approve this? And that's when I called Amex and said, none of this is approved. If there's one before this, and they cleaned it all up, all of that's gone. They closed my account, I already have a new card. All of it's been cleared. Catherine also has experienced some stuff, but not just from us, other people.
Just you.
All of those charges were from Global Truth Center?
$700.
That was that one. There's not more.
No, there were two. 10,400 each.
Right. On your Amex card. Right. So please do check your cards just in case someone's card has been, somehow they've gotten your numbers. Just check your accounts to make sure nothing that you've ever used here is being used.
Yours was American Express, and that one was American.
Was that American Express too? Probably.
How did the checks get stolen? You said the checks.
Well, to be honest, we mailed out a group of checks. All the checks that go to Palm Springs got there, and none of the checks that were going to Westlake Village.
It probably was at the post office.
Yeah.
Because the checks got pulled at the post office and never arrived. So it most likely an inside job where someone got paid to pull those out and give them to someone.
Yeah. We have fixed this in that we no longer send checks in those envelopes that make it look like a check. So we don't do that anymore. And we're paying more people directly, Venmo or automatic. So, any other questions on this? Please call us if anything happens to your Amex charge, if they somehow got your Amex number. But we're changing all of the accounts, so all the accounts will be all brand new. I haven't heard anybody else. The only one I've heard is Catherine and us. That was it. And interestingly enough, Catherine had just used her card because something had just come in. So it could have been just that day or whatever when they got it. It was a short window when this hack happened, and it was shut down very quickly. Pretty much the same time as the emails were happening, yes. And that's why Dr. Lori went in and sent a thing to everybody. Oh, and then the big email that came out was the one that asked you to look at a DocuSign. How many of you got that? Yeah, everybody got that. Most people, here's the deal. I'll just tell you this for your own life. If you ever get a DocuSign from someone that you didn't ask for, don't open it. I mean, it's clearly a scam. I mean, I had people write to me who I haven't talked to in 20 years who wrote me and said, I don't know what you want me to do with this, but I'm happy to help you. I was like, I haven't talked to you in 20 years. Why would I ask you for an opinion? But anyway, that's all done too. Yes. Okay. Now, moving right along. The lease on the water court. So let's start with that. We are going to sign a 5-year new lease. We are proposing a 5-year lease with the water court. We are releasing downstairs. Now, this may come as a shock to many people, but there you go. Give me your shock sound. But to be really honest, we don't use downstairs except for Sundays. That's it. Sunday after service, we don't use it for the rest of the week. Thor uses it as his office. I only come in if I have to. We teach online mostly now, and if we were going to teach a class, we'd do it up here, not downstairs in the kitchen. So that's in a year, that's about $50,000 a year we're spending to be in a room for like a few hours every Sunday. So we're releasing downstairs. We are creating the full center up here in this room. This room will be redesigned. And we are looking to upgrade everything. We want this wall to be a complete video wall. So it's no longer a slide projector, which is on its last legs. Thor has climbed a ladder up to that about 10 times in the last 2 weeks to keep it. He just hits it and it comes back on. I wish it were that simple, right? Yeah. So we are going to do a fundraising to build this video wall because, and I'll talk more about that as we go into what I want it to turn into. We want to create this space to be like a TED Talk place where we could possibly be a host to TED Talks and have a video wall, have cameras that are not so out of date from 20 years ago, to really create a vibrant room that we could rent out at a high price, and that we could create events in here that people from all over the state will come to. So that's what we're looking to do. So this, you may not be able to see this, but this is the design. Thor did this. They'll do a different design, but this is how it works. What you're looking at here is actually the way the room is right now. Thor's going over there to show you. The middle mark is right where I'm standing. No, I'm like way over here in this picture. But this is where the sanctuary would start, which is right where Thor's showing you.
Be a wall here.
Yes. James, are you on the camera? Oh, could you be on the camera so that you can...
I might be able to do that.
Oh, can you see it over there? Oh, never mind.
Wall that would go.
There'd be a wall that would start here and go all the way here, and then at some point becomes a half wall. And then that half wall continues on to about here, which then creates this whole space to be that big space in the center there that would become our hospitality space with our furniture, our table, and all that.
Right. And then over here is where the two offices will be. My office is in the corner, and Thor's office is right next to me. Which, to be very honest, I'm very looking forward to having an office that has a window, not a basement where I'm looking at a wall or a staircase. So there's an expansiveness to this that feels, to all of us that have been working on this, really good about what it is. Plus, that entrance will be made more of a prominent entrance to come into the center. Both entrances, obviously, still. I think that's it. This goes much further that way. Any questions about it? We are going to have a discussion, but yeah, Steve?
Here, let me send a mic over.
Where will the kids be?
The children are going to be in the meditation room. We're going to soundproof that. They're going to have their own space there. And as the children's program grows, there's a lot of space in this water court that is not filled. A lot of space. In fact, one right across from us, there's the one on the corner, I think, is empty. And it keeps getting empty. So as we build this program, as Shauna builds this program, we can take more space for the kids. Yeah. Yes?
Is it going to shrink this area?
Well, here's the thing. It doesn't really shrink this area because the wall, where was that wall again, Thor? Right. So 1, 2, 3, there's 4, 12,
Right here.
12 of them there, 12 seats. We lose those seats behind, which are rarely ever full, and we reconfigure this to put them in here. We actually can fit it here. We're looking to get rid of that booth and move everything upstairs so that this can go further back. So we really won't lose any seats that we have currently in the sanctuary.
How about the windows? The light is going to be gone?
The windows, these windows you won't see because the wall will be there, but those are still there. Yeah. And frankly, the windows are a problem for our service because it distills the lights that are hitting the stage when these are open. And so it's actually going to be nice that this space will be better for filming.
More light?
Less light and more lighting, yeah. Anything else on that? Swan, are you looking at the YouTube? Is anybody asking anything? Could you just check that in case?
No small shared office or touchdown space for the assistant ministers? What?
Who wrote that?
Well, I don't want to dox her.
Liza? No, there is no small space for the assistant ministers.
I love using your office. I put my feet on your desk.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, Steve?
Have you negotiated the new lease with the landlord?
We're in process.
Okay. And in your opinion, is it going better than last time?
Much better. Well, Thor, you can answer that.
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah, the question was, Have we begun to, here, let me
Yeah, come
here.
up here so they
Have
can
we
see.
begun to negotiate? Yes, we have. We have an agent who works just for us. They will be negotiating.
Tell them, as opposed to last time,
Right,
we had an
right.
agent that was working for us and for the other people at the same time, which is why it was quite a screwed up deal.
Yeah, and this is someone I've known for years. They are going to take our request to the landlord and say, this is what we want to build out. They will then give us what their cost will be to do the TI work, to build the wall. It's not going to be super expensive, we don't anticipate, but they'll say, okay, based on that, here's what your lease will be. I think we ballpark it, we probably save at least $5,000 a month. You said 50 a year. I suspect
60.
more. Yeah, I think it's going to be closer to 60 a year, which just makes everything way more sustainable without that extra $5,000 a month that we pay now for downstairs. So we anticipate by the board meeting at the end of this month, so in 2 weeks, I hope we will have the proposal back from the landlord to say, here's how much your rent will be. Our intention then is to decide, if not by then, by the final meeting in July, okay, this is our process moving forward. We're going to sign it so that when our current lease ends at the end of February of next year, starting March 1, will be less the space downstairs and in this new configured space up here.
Yes, Liz?
So this, how are you going to have Sunday service while you're fixing this?
Well, you know, we used to have Sunday service while we were building sets at the NoHo Arts Center. We'll just shut down whatever's happening and everybody comes in.
And we did this 5 years ago.
Yeah.
When we did not miss a single service 5 years ago when all of this was being reconfigured, including new carpeting and painting and all the blue balusters.
This is actually
all,
much less than we did last
It's
time.
way less.
Yeah. Okay, so the other part of this is, so we're going to take a 5-year lease, and the board and I have just brought to the board and was very warmly greeted with, I am giving because there's a lot of talk about my retirement and when I'm stepping down. I am giving, I'm signing a new 5-year lease to go with this lease. So thank you. So I will be here for the next 5 years, at least. At least. I'm going to be Sue Rubin, 92, and saying, maybe next year. Yeah. But anyway, so for the next 5 years, you have me as the spiritual director. Because what I want to do, I'm not done. I'm really not done, and I get that. I want this place to be, I want this place to be a spot on the map that everyone knows who we are, and what they come here to do. And that's what they don't know right now. Right now, we're just another church in the neighborhood, and that's going to change. So, any more questions about Water Court? Yes, Cynthia.
What did you say about kitchen-y stuff?
We will not be doing kitchen-y stuff on a Sunday other than coffee and you make cookies or something. So we will be able to do all that over there. The table will be there. We're creating it as a big. I don't think we're doing a refrigerator, but we might. Maybe I'll do a small one in my office.
And enough electricity to
Yes. Anthony?
How long will it take to reconfigure this? A month, 2 weeks?
Oh.
Can you repeat the question?
Oh yes. How long will it take to reconfigure this? We don't know, but it's not hard. What we're asking them to do is not that much, especially with making it a half wall. Because now, when you walk in the door back there, when you walk in, you will see the entire sanctuary, as well as the whole congregation area. So it's actually going to be quite beautiful to walk in here. And as we contemporize it more and have this beautiful video wall, and it's just going to be state of the art, and we'll be stepping into the contemporary world, which is great. Okay, yes, Jeannie?
Will the new lease include the fact that, or the idea that we could put our name back on the outside?
We are asking if we can if we can, water court is one of the worst parts of water court is that they do not allow branding of any kind other than water court. So we'll see. We are asking, we're going to say we really need, on this corner, to have because they were always on there. So, especially since we're planning on changing our name anyway, it'd be a great time to brand ourselves. We'll ask. Yes. Karen?
Do you have an estimate yet of the cost for the rebuilding, reconfiguring?
They will pay for that. The only thing we're going to have to raise money for is the equipment to modernize. Steve?
When you say they will pay for
It's amortized into our lease.
there's no free lunch here.
No.
You're going to get, that's going to be part of the negotiation.
Right.
They should give you an allowance.
Yeah.
Anyway, but that's the negotiation.
Right. It's all, yeah. But because it's so simple, we really feel like it's not going to be a big deal with them. Go ahead.
Well, so if all we have to pay for is the equipment, then the reduction in the rent should offset that. Is that right?
It would, but I'd rather raise the money because we're trying to offset the rent so we stop being in the red. It's all going to cost, I think this whole thing we think is going to cost about $75,000 for everything. We'll see. I think Thor will start working on that now to see how much we need to spend. Okay, ready? Two more aspects. Future of our center. So I want you to look at this. I want this place to be an experiential place of community. I want this place to be a place where you come to experience, not a church per se. A place for exploration and discovery. Most of the people that make this place work are in classes. Most of the people that work to build the Global Truth Center are either in them or teaching them, and we are all learning more and more every day. This center is really on the cutting edge of where quantum science is going, and I want to keep it that way. I don't ever want to just fall back into, let's just teach the science of mind. I love the science of mind because it brought me here, and that's what I want this place to be. Education at the center of our mission. I want this place to be a place where people come to learn, where they come to discover, and a focus on children and families. That we want families to bring their children here because their children are going to learn how amazing they are. Because our job, we're not here to teach Sunday school. We're here to help children learn just how amazing they are. So it's all about self-esteem, self-empowerment to the children. So the more children we have and the more families we have all learning this and moving this together, we are creating vibrations in our community that will be of a great benefit. So that's what I see our center growing into. Yes, Jeannie.
Is your education still going to keep, easy for me, religious science, or is it religious science just gone?
Religious science isn't gone, but I don't think we're promoting religious science. I want to get away from the word religious. And I don't want to get away from the word science, to be honest. But putting those two together, it's cultish.
Yeah.
And that's what we hear in the world, that religious science is a cult. It's like Scientology. And once and for all, I'd like to step away from the cult idea of who we are. And, and if someone thinks it's a cult, even no matter what we're doing, then I can't really be in charge of that, So, but religious science is the base of what we teach. And we want everybody to know that when they're here learning it.
So you'll kind of maybe revise some of the, like first class?
You mean like, we've already revised the classes. Yeah, no. Our first year, we no longer teach Science of Mind 101, 102. We don't do any of that. It's Consciousness Studies 1, Consciousness Studies 2, Practitioner, it's not even called Practitioner anymore, Mastering the Mind, Ministerial Track, and then Advanced Consciousness. So all of these classes are already available, and we move them out. If a new book comes out that we're all excited about, that goes into the curriculum. Kirby?
Yeah, to that. I take almost every class that comes in the the beginning ones because I am learning new stuff, and it is enriching the foundation of what I already know. So I recommend to everybody, no matter how long you've been in this teaching, we get so much enrichment from these classes, and they really do help to expand your practice and your beingness. I highly recommend it.
Yeah, because our Consciousness Studies 1, I don't graduate to Advanced Consciousness and not take Consciousness Studies 1, because it's a new course. There will be new courses constantly. Q vitality, quantum vitality. I am just developing this course, and it's got all the basics of quantum, but it has everything I'm teaching in advanced consciousness as well, in a much simpler fashion. So, yeah. Okay, any other question about who we are or what we're looking at for the future of the center? Everybody feel good about this? Great. But that doesn't mean we don't want Sunday services, to be honest, or these celebrations of love. It is the cornerstone of what we do. But it's not all that we do. And it's not your mother's church. Oops. Okay. So, new name. So, we want to rebrand away from traditional church, a more welcoming and all-inclusive identity, and a feeling that is immediately understood. So, the last time, in Palm Desert, I worked on the rebranding in Palm Desert, and that took quite a bit. That's an even older community, but they went along with it pretty well. They wanted a name that I owned, and that was the name they settled on. And then Lori and I decided we didn't want to give it up, so we did not give it up. Thank God. So we but we gave a different concept, so it became Spiritual Center of the Desert. And that worked great, and the branding was great, and it all looked great. So I shepherded that through. The last time I shepherded from the NoHo Arts Center for New Thought to Global Truth Center was exhausting, because a lot of people did not like Global Truth Center. They didn't like the word truth. They thought that we were saying, we have the truth and you don't. And I was getting a lot of that from people on my board, even. The board was kind of split. It took us about 2 years to finally make the switch, which was ironic because we ended up giving up the building and we were no longer in NoHo. So thank God we did it. But it took a while. And the truth is, the name, while I've been very happy with it for the last, I don't know how many years it's been, 10, 15 years, we still get all the time that it sounds like a cult. It sounds like you have the truth and we don't. And as we've moved on in our history in this country, the word truth is not a very pleasant word these days. And nobody knows what it is. Your truth or my truth, his truth or her truth. So we wanted to stay away from that. So right before COVID, Eric Overholzer and I wanted to create a new organization, a new experiential place, and we wanted to open them all over. We were like, we want to open these things all over the place, and it's all about mind-body connection and the science of mind, and all experiential. And so we went and got the name, and I own all of the websites. We own all the names in all of the cities for that, and we decided, the board has been looking at this for a while now, and we've decided to go forward with what we first came up with, which was before the pandemic. Before the pandemic, we started having these experiences in this sanctuary, and it was very exciting. And then it was all shut down. So we are now proposing to you that we are going to become Welcome Home with the OM, a new concept of experiential philosophy that promotes love only, forgive everything, remember who you are. Now, this is the logo that Eric and I spent months figuring out with a great designer in Canada. But it's not exactly like that. There are many different variations on this. And there are many different variations that include all the things we do. And if you notice, the Om is prominent. Because what is Om? What is Om? Om is the symbol of oneness, the symbol of expansive infinity. So just the look of it lets you know where you are. You know where you're going. You know what you're coming to. And just the idea of welcome home. Okay, so this was one of the other logos that we used. Different colors. And then, if you all remember Spirit Breath, so when we do our events like 9D, Spirit Breath, when we do Soul Immersion, it'll have the Welcome Home symbol in it, so that we keep branding ourselves as Welcome Home. It will be Welcome Home Palm Springs. They have been chomping at the bit to we haven't done any marketing in Palm Springs because we didn't want to market until we actually had the correct marketing branding. So they're all on board there. Spirit Breath, any of the events we do will get branded with the Welcome Home. And that's kind of like that. Do you all remember? I know Diana and Michael remember this because we did our big open house. And it was inviting everyone to come and experience all the many things we do. And you can't really read them from where you are, but the power of contemplation, chakra energization, aging with grace, all of these programs that we had planned on doing with Welcome Home, we will do here. And we will brand ourselves as that place you go to experience. Now, the other thing is, it's not just going to be Welcome Home. It'll be Welcome Home with a tagline. Stan gracefully sent to the board, how many were there? 35? 35 taglines.
No, that you guys came up with.
Yes, we all came up with all these taglines. And so did AI come up with some of them. And I did not bring 35 of them here for you today. But, oh wait, this is from today's talk. If you can't name it, you can't claim it. To be really honest, I didn't even notice that my talk today had anything to do with changing the name until Kevin said it to me. He said, "Did you pick that title for your talk because of the town hall?" I was like, "Why?" And then I got it. So it is. If you can't name it, if we can't say who we are and what we stand for, if you don't have an elevator pitch that says we're an experiential community that teaches oneness, where everyone is welcome, where we can be on whatever spiritual path works for us, we come here and share it with each other. You know, there's an elevator pitch that's simple, right? So, Welcome Home, a spiritual community where all are welcome. That's what we have started with. Welcome Home, a sanctuary for the soul where all are welcome. Welcome Home, whose hearts connect and souls thrive. A sacred space for all, which is also a good one. Welcome Home, a sacred space for all. Embracing everyone on their spiritual journey. All paths, one heart, welcome home. I'd like that anywhere to use somewhere. Evolving consciousness through community. Be seen, be heard, be held. I don't know whose that was, but that one's nice. Changing lives through consciousness and connection, a place to remember who you truly are. So there's many things, and the board will actually make the final decision on what they want to go, but it will be part of the logo. It will be Welcome Home, a spiritual community where all are welcome. So, to you, thoughts, how do you feel?
I have a question.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me give you a
Yes. And online too, you can let Swan know.
Go back to the logo. What is the representative of the circle? The three?
That is the Buddhist symbol for life, correct? Sanskrit, sorry.
Sanskrit.
For life.
Thank you, sorry.
I say Buddhist. Sanskrit, Buddhist, same thing. Who else? Because I'll only get your first impression once. Shauna?
When will the rebranding start? Is it not till next February or?
No,
right away?
No. I think the rebranding is going to start pretty quickly as soon as we decide to go all out with it. Sort of a rebranding. It'll be Welcome Home, a Global Truth Center. We'll put them together until we finally move just to Welcome Home. Yes, Anthony?
When you get the new tagline,
Hold on.
when you choose your new tagline, I noticed you have many of these cards out here, and they're all different for every month. So when you choose the major tagline, why can't some of those other things be used in brochures, in branding?
Oh, they can.
Not just one, but like the several that you mentioned.
Well, branding, the logic in branding is to keep it clear and one at all times. But you can use it in different ways. Like, for instance, that branding may be on one side of the card, and the other side of the card will be the monthly theme, which will just have the logo up in the corner. Anything else? Yes, Jeannie?
Of course, my hand is up. When you were, before you put the tags up, you said something about oneness, teaching oneness, and I think oneness is such a strong word. That's
It
just
is.
my opinion.
We actually thought about calling it Oneness Center, but there are a lot of centers out there called Oneness. Yeah, because it is what we teach. Yeah, Oneness was also in Palm Desert. We had three names: Welcome Home, Oneness, the Oneness Center, and Spiritual Center of the Desert. And Welcome Home was their first choice. It's coming, Steve.
James, I've been sitting here for a number of minutes looking at the symbol, and for me, all of it is self-evident except for the Sanskrit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's disruptive.
Okay.
I get the home, I get the Om, I get what's written down below that,
Mm-hmm.
but you got to be kind of in the know to get the Sanskrit.
What if it was a heart?
I'm not big on hearts, so I'll stay out of that. I mean, now you're getting into that touchy-feely stuff, and there's a whole segment of society that, you know. But the Sanskrit, that's very esoteric, okay?
Yeah.
Just
I
saying.
get it. Diane?
I agree with the symbol being gone. Anything from a heart to clasping hands of different colors, showing oneness and love would be preferable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Craig?
Yeah, I was going to ask before Steve mentioned it, what thought went into the use of Sanskrit, and Sanskrit it's Hindu and Om is Hindu, so there's a little bit of that might. I mean, I'm not a Christian, but I'm thinking, is there a conflict there with people that might see that as a obscure or Eastern mysticism? And it's a
We
thought.
did just so you know, we did a, what is that called when you survey people? A focus group. And the focus group, we did a focus group on Global 2 Center and Welcome Home. And the focus group, the high percentage of people did not like Global 2 Center. And in the Welcome Home, when they all saw it, except for 2 out of 50 some odd people, 2 people said it didn't touch them, the rest of them loved it. And my son, I asked him to take it to his group, the younger group in the 20-somethings, and they all said they had no interest in going to church. And when Will said, well, my dad's thinking of opening something different, so what would you think of this? And they all looked at it and well, that looks cool. What do they do there? And he talked about meditation and soul immersion. He was like, and the kids were all like, yeah, we would definitely be interested in something like that. So I think it has a different feeling depending on what generation we are.
They're talking about
Yeah, the Sanskrit. He also knew it was Sanskrit now that I think about it.
I love the Sanskrit. I think that it's completely appropriate. I think that symbol, I don't think it's about being Hindu. I think it's about being ancient. And I think that truth being universal and getting back to something that's in wisdom of like all across the ages is very beautiful. And I think that most people, I immediately knew it was an Om. Om is an emoji on Instagram. Like people
Right.
do recognize it, I think, way more than they don't. And my only problem with Global Truth Center was that it seemed a little sterile. You know, like there wasn't warmth to the imagery of it. And I love the warmth of the Sanskrit symbol and that it's kind of a nod to ancient wisdom, and I think it's perfect.
Thank you. You do too. Okay. Yeah, hold on, right there.
Oh, no, she said it, but I wanted to say it.
Okay.
Om is something I've used for I don't know how long. The symbol. And with the way you wrote welcome home, the Om is in home, and I totally enjoy that.
Yeah, me too.
And it's just something I've been using for a very long time. And so now that we're having it here, it just makes it different for me now. It's more impactful because I'm not just doing that,
we're doing that. Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah, go ahead.
I just want to, I agree with what was said about the Sanskrit symbol. I think it may throw some people off, but what do we do here when we greet each other all the time?
We embrace them, yeah.
We embrace each other. So a symbol showing.
Yeah, an embracing symbol.
Yeah.
It's a great point, and I appreciate you bringing it up, Steve. It is a great point. I don't want something that I have to explain too much.
So I agree that it's well known and people recognize it, but they don't necessarily know what it means, but it may make them feel like he said. So my suggestion is to take some of the words like the oneness or the connection or whatever and let AI create some images and see what it comes up with, if there might be one that works.
That's a good idea. Yes, Catherine?
What about a globe?
Oh, we're trying to stay away from Global Truth Center.
Oh, no, I was just thinking about the earth as home, that everyone on the earth is welcome and home.
Well, in one sense, it keeps something from our past. Yeah. That's an interesting idea. I'll have her do it with the globe and see what we all think. Yes.
So,
Does somebody have the camera?
I have it. I'm over here.
Connie, yeah.
So I was thinking about it. The Sanskrit, for me, and I realize there are others that don't feel that way, is not so esoteric as the Ankh we've had for 20 years. The Ankh has been there forever in a day since we've had this. So as far as using imagery or using certain types of ancient symbolisms, I feel like this one is actually more modern compared to what we have been using. It's more identifiable compared to what we've been using, and it is more vibrationally aligned with who we are.
Mm-hmm. And do you know how many people thought that Ankh was a cross? So many people thought we had a cross in our logo. Yep. Right here. Hold on.
I love this, and I think it's beautiful, and I think you guys did a great job on it. And I'm just going to say, if I were looking for what I'm looking for, I wrote this down, Spiritual Evolution Center of Westlake Village.
Spiritual Evolution.
Evolution Center.
Yeah, I think that would turn a lot of people off.
Really?
Yeah.
I would love it.
It sounds scientific.
Really? Okay.
To me.
Just thought I'd throw it in.
We have a lot of people online with things to say.
Tell us.
Let's scroll up. And I'm going to try to keep everyone anonymous. Love the Om, not the real estate icon as much, but it will grow on me. I'm worried with Om, people might think it's a yoga or Pilates studio, which is not necessarily a bad thing, or an ashram. We have a vote for all paths as the subtitle. Some people are saying they love Welcome Home. Tagline will help dispel any misconceptions that Welcome Home is a yoga studio or ashram, so tagline is important. People love Welcome Home. People love Welcome Home. Heart. Someone says heart better than Sanskrit. Globe better than heart. Many people say infinity loop. More people love Welcome Home. An atom with an electron flying around. Some people are agreeing that Sanskrit might be too esoteric, might turn off some people because they don't know what it means. Love the warmth and recognition of the Sanskrit symbol, so we have all sorts of perspectives on that. Some people think that we will be a Hindu, or we would be perceived as a Hindu center.
With the Sanskrit.
With the Sanskrit. Someone says, love oneness and welcome home, but the Sanskrit and Om are cultural and Buddhist appropriation. Maybe folks will think we are a yoga or Buddhist center. A suggestion for a globe, suggestion for an atom, and then someone says infinity loop is overused. So we're,
Okay, great. Yes, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that the earlier version that you showed with the home, where all the type was the same size, that seemed to put more emphasis on home, and might actually work better to kind of dispel some of the Sanskrit impressions that people are getting, because it's more of a, maybe the welcome part in the previous one, maybe the font is just a little bit on the light side. It could maybe be heavied up just a hair, but reading the word home as one word, I think has meaning.
Great. Yeah, and this is not a finalized version, by the way. We are going back to the designer to say, here's what we want. Yeah. Go ahead.
All right, I have one more point.
If it's about the Sanskrit.
It's not about the Sanskrit. We know how I feel about the Sanskrit, yeah?
Yeah, we all got it.
But I heard they might think it's yoga, and I think the problem with that body, mind, spirit.
Yeah,
body,
and
mind,
that's not going to be on there.
Right, so if it said Center for New Thought, that might be something like that, something about New Thought might steer it away from us mistaking it for yoga. Other than that, I still
New
like it.
Thought, just so you all know, the New Thought is a phrase in the zeitgeist that most people don't know what the hell that means, and it confuses them.
So
we found that out when we had the NoHo Art Center for New Thought.
Is there a better way to describe?
I think it's just a spiritual community where all are welcome. A spiritual.
That's nice. Spiritual community.
That's what we're calling it. Right now, the tagline is "Welcome Home," a spiritual community where all are welcome. That's what it is right now, and I don't know that anything outdoes that one.
Dr. James, based on the wine tour on the bus, the way you introduced us as a spiritual community, as you know, like 20 of the people on the group are friends of mine that I teach with that are all different religions. They all really positively responded to us being introduced that way.
Yeah.
So
as a spiritual community.
Yeah, spiritual community.
Yes.
How about a wine bottle up there? Nothing says unity like wine.
That would work.
That would work.
Okay.
Attract people.
That was it, and then discussion. So that's everything that's happening here. When this rebranding happens, we have also hired a marketing team that just started this month, and the amazing Nick Williams actually has kind of hired them for the first 3 months, and to give us a head start. So they just started. So we will be out in the community more, and really they're going to work on our social media to make sure that everything we do here is out there and people know who we are. But because they're on board, we probably want to do this quicker than later so that we don't have to confuse everybody. And we just wanted you to know that's part of what the board has been working on this last 4 months, January, February, March, April, 5 months. So if there's no more questions, if there are anything else you want to discuss, okay, then we are good to go. Stan, come up for a minute. You want to treat us out as our vice president, please?
18,000 ministers in the room.
Yes, but only one Stan Galperson.
So what I know is that there is one mind, one intelligence, one creative energy, always expressing, always expanding, and only, always as love. And I know that consciousness is right here in all its richness, in all its glory, in the collective consciousness of this congregation. And I know the work of this center goes forward. under whatever name we choose. And I know that we choose wisely, with intelligence, with integrity, with truth, with trust. And I just express my gratitude for the love in this room, the love in this community, out online and everywhere else. And I just marvel in the fact that our collective lives, the lives of this congregation, is unfolding absolutely perfectly in this moment and always, no matter what. I am just so grateful to know this, to be a member of this, to be a part of this, that I just stand in my power and I release my powerful word as law, knowing it is done, it is complete, and we affirm it by saying.
And so it is. Woo!
There you have it.
That was awesome. Thank you, everybody.